Testing. 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 Testing.
Did you wait out the storm here?
Okay. Do you want to go stand up there?
We'll stand wherever. Welcome everyone to Harbor Springs, Michigan, and the Great Lakes 52 Ugotta Regatta stop here, our second inshore regatta of the year. As you know, we were going to be on at 12 o'clock noon, and at 12 o'clock noon, it was pouring down rain here. We've just had a frontal passage that has come over us, and that we will be waiting probably until 1:30. We just got word from the race committee. Out there, out there, it is flat. Once the storm came through, we've gotten a flattening of the breeze. We're going to wait for the breeze to increase, kind of let this cloud cover come over, and maybe get a little bit of Test one, two, three. Test. Welcome everybody to Harbor Springs. This is Farley Fontenot, and we're here at practice for the GL52 Ugotta Regatta stop in northern Michigan. Carol, our race committee, will probably give them a few more minutes and then start the countdown. She gets it 5 minutes and then comes back down. So everybody gets about 3 or 4 minutes of practice before they come back for the restart. We were hoping to bring you beautiful sunshine, nice warm weather, but one thing we've learned we can't control, and that's Mother Nature. So we see the boats beginning to come back as we all begin to gather back at the starting area to get ready for the second practice start. The Natalie J is a local boat from up here in Grand Rapids or in Michigan. It's owned by Phil O'Neill, Dr. Phil O'Neill and Sharon O'Neill. The boat is driven by their son-in-law, Bor Galati, who is past moth champion, world champion. On that boat, they also have Brett Jones, who is the sail designer for the world champion American Magic Quantum Racing, and they also have from that same team Ian Liberty, and Nornberg. So the boat is packed with, much less David Schreiner from Quantum Sales, George Pete. This is them right here. They've got a great team, and as all the other teams, getting ready to prepare for they're waving at us. And Phil Jr. is the navigator. Almost not 1 minute to sequence. Inside 1 minute to sequence. Less than a minute to the 5-minute gun. The sequence in our starts, for those who don't know it, is a flag up at 5 minutes, a flag up at 4 minutes, a flag down at 1 minute to go, and then the go. And it gives the boats a time to kind of sequence themselves. You can probably hear Carol over my mic. 10 seconds to sequence. Counting down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5 minutes to our second practice start. That's the warning signal for a practice start. Practice start. The rain again starts to come down. The wind quest from right there that we see is from Holland, Michigan, or Grand Rapids. Doug and his son Dalton DeVos. They have Mike Menninger from American Magic, who sailed this year. They also have Nikolai Shashetsky, who is the Sail GP Denmark driver. Brad Farrell is a trimmer on that boat, who's also on the Italian Sail GP team. 10 seconds to the 4 minute. All the boats gathering around. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's funny for these racers that when it's pouring down rain, they are miserable. But once the race starts, they don't really feel it because now they're into the mode of racing. But at this point, for all of us who've done this our whole lives, this is a miserable part of the race, just sitting in the rain, waiting for it to start. 3 minutes and 38 seconds to this practice start number 2. The Hooligan from Cleveland is kind of new to our group, although he's been sailing for a long time. It's good to have him up here. The Wizard, probably one of the best teams in the fleet, with Peter Askew as the owner, Steve Hunt, Charlie Enright, Richard Lewis, Richard Clark, uh, a really strong team, both in the middle of the boat and in the afterguard. Kind of, the rain has just stopped for, give it a few more minutes, 2 minutes and 55 seconds. Right now, we've got the heartbreaker beginning to jibe away. See the wizard with her stars going across. Right behind her is Hooligan. Katana tacks into the middle, going back to port, off starboard, pushing the Natalie J, who's in front of her, with the Prospector, Windquest, and Mockingbird. This is kind of the beginning of the dance as they all line up on port to get to the position they want. Some guys will tack early off of port for the pin. Some will go all the way down to the as far as they can go so that make sure that they get to the boat. We go down now. Windquest, an interesting move. Instead of tacking, she jibes onto starboard at the same time that the Prospector tacks onto starboard. Windquest starts pretty deep in the hole to start with 1:46. Mockingbird now tacks. We see the Heartbreaker cutting across, still on port tack, trying to find her way across. And she's going to be able to get all the way across as Natalie J can't really get to her. Windquest has a nice setup right now, at least at this point, with 1:23. 1:23 is a long time in this distance. So we got to stop and everyone's going to hold up. There's going to be a lot of action in that last 1:23 because the line is only so long and they've got to fill the whole lineup. Windquest takes a little poke out, trying to see if she can get a little breathing room. Prospector is in a little bit on the Heartbreaker. Less than a minute. See the Katana right now with 50 seconds to go. She takes a little short port tack. Windquest takes a port tack, what we call the nibble. Just a quick little nibble over. 41 seconds to go. 37. The boats are all beginning to line up. Windquest coming down, trying to find the hole. It's going to be tough up there. 26 seconds. She's not going to be able to get in. She's going to have to duck around. 21 seconds. Hooligan down, trying to make a run for it to get some pace on. 13 seconds. These boats are pretty close and slow for 13 seconds. 9, 8, 7. The bows are down. You see them building pace. That's the Prospector right there. We got a couple boats over early again. Here they go off. Hooligan, great start with boat speed because she had such a good runway down there. Wizard, Katana, Prospector over early. Windquest had to take the boat and go around. And probably if this had been a real race, it wouldn't be such a bad place for her to be. Good pace by the Wizard. Good pace by the Katana. Good pace by the Mockingbird. These guys now will poke out. And as soon as we feel that we can get that we have no more rain, we'll put the drone up and it'll be a better view for all of you. Again, they'll sail for about 3 minutes before they turn around. The Windquest up there put herself in a tough position as she was the furthest boat to the right. She jibed, but yet she never could get deep enough, what we call deep enough in the hole. She never could get where she could set up and still lay the committee boat. And Bob Hughes on the Heartbreaker did a great job of keeping her out. Clearing up a bit here. On the boat, we have Drew Follett, who's doing all our filming. Tommy Giesler's driving the boat, and we've got James Line coach. Not only does he coach the Windquest, he also coaches the whole fleet as we have the debriefs every morning. So we're all working. See the boats begin to slowly come back around. So this next race, this next start will be the start of a real practice race, which will be two legs, a windward leeward leg, and we'll follow them all the way up. You may have heard that. 0.8 nautical miles is going to be the practice leg, which is about the length of our races. Normally it's between 0.8 and 0.12, so it'll be a little bit shorter. If the camera's showing, it's really overcast, I mean, with a very low cloud cover, and breeze is moving around a lot. You see now the boat's all coming back.
Repeating 12 teams under 2 minutes to sequence. The line is set. The line is set. The varying distance to the weather mark for this two-leg race is 280 degrees and 0.8 nautical miles.
This fleet has on the water judging. We have Brad Dellenbach. You see him talking to Natalie J. Brad Dellenbach is our on the water judge. We'll have a second judge, and I don't know who it is. I'll find out tonight. But we have two. They feel like anytime you have for every 5 boats, you have one judge on the water, and we have 8 boats here. Everybody slowly coming back. For those who've never seen this, it's quite the operation here for 8 boats. 1 minute, Jill. I can tell you, that watching these starts are probably the most boring part. But now the fun begins as we have our first practice race.
Might be able to fly this, Drew.
434. So we've seen most boats, they really like the starboard end of the line or the boat end. We probably should have gone over there for this. A little bit of it is that there's a point sticking right up there, and the point is very favorable since the course is so far to the right, so far close to the land. They want to get that point to be the first boat to the point. Probably has a wind advantage of a little bit of a wind shift. You'll see a lot of the local boats really fight hard to be some of the first boats on port to go left. And we'll see that all weekend. Although when we race, we won't be this far down. We'll be in a different course. So it's like they put us in different locations every day. So it's not the same thing over and over. 339. Heartbreaker taking a ping bearing to make sure they feel like their electronics are in sync with the electronics that are on the committee boat, along with the Katana. John Hune, owner of the Katana, is from St. Louis, Missouri. He's got Morgan Larson's, the great college sailor from University of Hawaii. And again, another star-studded boat. Morgan's grown up, ended up becoming one of the best pro sailors in the world. We have 2 minutes and 55 seconds. Breeze is kind of lightened up, and as you can see, the skies are lightened up just a bit. Two minutes and 30 seconds to the start of the first practice race here at Harbor Springs at the Regatta. The Ugotta Regatta has normally been a long course races here up at the north end of the bay, but we came in and the 52s came in and wanted to do some day racing, so they did 2 days of day racing, then the day of long racing. The rest of the fleet, as you'll see as the weekend goes out, there'll be 150 boats will be out here on Saturday and Sunday. 1 minute 52 seconds. Early setup here by the by the Hooligan and the Wizard. Prospector just tacks on. You see the other boats still heading on port, driving down to figure out their ley line to the committee boat. You don't want to go too far on port so that you can't lay the committee boat on starboard tack. Mockingbird tacks, Katana tacks. Bob Hughes on the Heartbreaker, hardened up and now tacks under the Katana. Here comes the Hooligan underneath the Heartbreaker and the Wizard underneath the Hooligan. So there's kind of the lineup right now. WinQuest still taking a late approach to it with 1 minute 2 seconds.
Inside 1 minute to the start.
Got that group kind of stacked up. It kind of prevents, those 3 boats are kind of locked in now. The only one who has a chance to get out of there would be the weather boat, and that would be the Katana. Mockingbird takes a nibble. The Natalie J coming up from behind, probably with a better pace. We've got 32 seconds, probably late. WinQuest tacks over late. Here comes Prospector, probably late also. Bob Hughes pokes out. The Wizard bow down. We have 14 seconds. She's going to have a great hole here to go down into and build pace. You see her coming straight down at us. 7 seconds. All the bows should be down. 2, 1, oh. Great start by the Wizard. See, because she had so much space below her, she could put her bow down and just gain a lot of speed when it enables her to head up to be poked out. We got the group back there with the Katana, the WinQuest, and the Mockingbird fighting it out. Bob Hughes has a nice cap. And the Natalie J, first boat out, heading to the left to the point. Follow the boats as they go upwind here. Everybody's kind of controlled by the boats on the right. If they don't tack, nobody wants to tack and duck the boats. So the group continues on. Everybody trying to gain a little advantage with either their location or by hoping the other boats go. Here we go, a great tack. Katana tacks out, and right on her goes the Mockingbird. When the Mockingbird goes right on her, she has no clean air, and she's going to probably have to tack back unless she feels like she can live there. All these boats are going for the point that you can see the little sailboat up there. It's the point they're going for. Wizard still in a great controlling position with a great start that she had. Bob Hughes holding his lane, and also WinQuest holding her lane. You see a lot of travelers up on these boats as we need to keep the bows up. There goes WinQuest as she tacks out, and we'll see the whole group begin to tack out. WinQuest is out. Hooligan's out. Prospector Bob Hughes is out on Heartbreaker. And now the Wizard's going to go. So it's going to be interesting to see with the good start that the Wizard had if this point pays off for these guys that really had left early. There's a good chance that Natalie J left too early. And it's a little bit underneath the point. Long lineup. Wizard finally tacks. The Katana suffering here now that the Mockingbird has gotten going, having a tough time being able to gain any height or bearing. That's a WinQuest leading that group right there. WinQuest, and right next to her is the Hooligan. No, I'm sorry, Bob Hughes, and then Hooligan and Wizard on the outside. Katana has struggled to gain a little bit of height here on the Mockingbird, and she's doing a good job. Here comes Natalie J out of the left corner. Nice little puff. I don't know if she's going to have enough to actually turn the Mockingbird. She does. Nice lift coming out of this corner. She's going to. Mockingbird, wait. There's the tack right there. Now, the Nellie J turns the Mockingbird, which clears up the air here for the Katana. Now, Mockingbird's stuck under there, and she's going to stay and keep her air and bow out on Nellie J. Nellie J, who was the first boat out, got to the soonest, and she's going to cross probably the whole group if she wanted to. She's got to make a decision where she wants to take one more stab back at the beach. There's the mark right there. She doesn't have a shot. That 8/10 of a mile ate up pretty quick. Natalie J on just underneath the ley line. It's going to be a crowd up there. WinQuest is going to come up and hip up on the proper. None of those boats, the white boat, Natalie J, Mockingbird, none of those boats can lay. Wizard trying to approach from outside. I don't think he's going to be able to get to them. These guys are wound up on starboard tack. There goes the Katana. You would think that the WinQuest was going to go in here before they got to that line. Natalie J comes back out. Wow. Great duck here on the WinQuest. It seems like a bit of, we'll see when we get there. Here we go. We're going right on. Katana's probably very close to the ley line. Now WinQuest sits up on her. Natalie J has a great lane. Two great tacks coming out on a big lift on starboard, and now a great lift on port. The group is really going to get tangled up. Mockingbird trying to weave the needle there, thread the needle, very close tack underneath the Natalie J and the Katana. Great action here at the first. Always for these races, it's just some great action as the course is small and doesn't give the boats a lot of time to move out. Such an interesting move with a great start that the Wizard has. Goes to the left and is not able to cross the group, especially on this really lifted starboard tack right now. Here comes the Wizard. She'll duck 6 of the boats. Tough call for Steve and Peter, but it's kind of how this course is. Natalie J's coming up. Bob Hughes sneaks in underneath the WinQuest. First boat's at the mark, Natalie J. Dave Schrader on the main, eases the main. There goes Mockingbird. The Katana follows with the Heartbreaker and the Windquest. We use an offset mark. Offset mark is a little bit of a mark down away from the weather mark to separate the boats. There's the first set with the Natalie J. Job set. She likes the upwind right, so she's going to go back to that same area that she did. Mockingbird comes with a fairway set. Job set on the Katana. Job set on the Heartbreaker. Job set also on the Windquest. The Wizard, everybody job set but the Mockingbird so far. Hooligan comes around now. Can't tell yet what she's doing. She is bareway setting, and so is the Prospector. They quickly get their staysails up, as this is a staysail type run. Not blowing too hard or not blowing. Tommy. We'll follow the job set boats going down the run. The boats separate as with these asymmetrical chutes, they cannot go dead downwind. It's almost like tacking upwind. So they take the side that they feel would be best for them. Mockingbird now rolls her staysail up and jives. Natalie J stretching out. Being pushed a little bit by the red chute of the Heartbreaker. Windquest with the Pan Man. And Wizard with the Stars. Just good reference. Well, just like we had talked about earlier, the point up there, the point ends up being a favorable spot for the upwind boats, as the first boat to get there was the Natalie J, who was also the first boat to a mark. The first three boats to get there were the first three at the mark. These guys will stay on port. This group here will probably stay on port jibe till the first boat jibes, and then they'll all try to jibe on each other to steal each other's breeze to see who can beat who to the finish. Because these boats are sailed on ORC ratings, they're not exactly one design. Some boats give or take a little time from other boats depending on the rating and the wind condition, and it varies. It's a subtle, but yet those seconds are what are the difference between first and second in a lot of races. Natalie J has just walked away from the Katana and Heartbreaker. As we said, bore one of the better off the wind sailers, not with as a small boat sailor. And we see the first boat Katana try to drive on them, just as we talked about. They drive and try to get in front of the breeze as the breeze is going across, and then it's going to be up to the Natalie J to kind of sneak out in front by going a little higher and a little faster. A game of inches. Now to see how the Mockingbird did when she, with her bareway set and late drive onto port. Obviously, she's not crossing, or she would have gone further to them. So she has now rolled her. She's rolled her staysail up. Maybe she feels she's on the ley line. Nope, she's behind them. There go the staysails are coming down now on the two lead boats. They will take their staysails down and have a proper rounding to try to get. Jib's going up on Natalie J. Jib's going up on Mockingbird. Natalie J is going to go to the left gate, left turn, going back up to the point if we were racing. This is the finish, but we do a proper rounding here so that, again, just for the practice of it. There goes the chute for Natalie J. First takedown. Nice lead. Done. Bora and team. Bora and Dr. Phil did a great job on that race. Mockingbird's going to go to right gate, right turn. Katana will probably follow her in. Bob Hughes shoot down on the heartbreaker, making the turn slowly, getting herself a little berth there and work. Katana shoot down. It does seem like this left gate is favored. If we were racing, it would be big favored. But since it's and Quest making the turn, making sure she can get in anything she can get inside of the heartbreaker would be great. Wizards around. Hooligan and Prospectors taking their chutes down. Prospector has a problem with the chute maybe in the water. Hooligan makes the turn. And that's our practice race. We'll take a little break here and we'll get when we start, they'll take it, they too will take us some time and then we'll start this up again. Maybe the next sequence we'll have the drone up. This is Farley and we're out. Okay, light me up.
And it's a warning signal for a practice start.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back. This is Farley Fontenot. We're on the race course here in mucky, soupy Harbor Springs, Michigan. It's a low overcast, on and off rain all day. And we're here with the GL52s getting ready for our second practice starts and practice race of our practice day. With me today is Drew Follett filming, Tommy Giesler driving, and James Lynn telling us all what to do. So here we are. For the rain, we look like we have maybe one last line of rain before it goes away, and that's why we can't put the drone up. So we're filming from the coach boat. 1 minute. I'm sorry, 4 minutes. That's 4 minutes to go. The last race was won by Natalie J, who basically went up the upwind right to Little Traverse Light Point and tacked away and was able to cross the group. With only 0.8 of a mile for the length, they eat up the track pretty quick. And so things are happening pretty quick once we start racing. Carol Hewing, our race committee, and Linda Bishop, who runs the class for the TP52, are on the race committee boat. The marks are mark set bot with Vaqueros software and hardware on there to call the boats over early. It's a great system that they've worked for a couple years and have one of the couple companies that do it, and they do a great job. Basically, there is a light, an invisible beam that goes across, and if the boat crosses it, it puts a red light on the boat and a red light to everybody that they know that boat is over early. So it's a system that took a long time to perfect, and they're actually beginning to do a great job with it, and it's more and more consistent. 2 minutes and 35 seconds are left to the start of our first practice start of race 2. We're on the weather side this time, so you get a little different view. We got the Wizard just tacking. As you heard those two guns, that means that we have a postponement. As I said, there was one more line of squalls that were coming in, and that line of squalls had a huge wind shift in it and basically made the race course I'd say it was unlevel for all points. So we're gonna straighten it up, square it up. It was unsquare. So we'll let these guys do that while you guys kind of watch the action of all the boats sailing around. It's kind of hard for me, being from Texas, to believe that it's this chilly when it was 101 when I left yesterday. But everybody's in their jackets and it's like winter, only different. For those who don't know where Harbor Springs is, we're up here in the northern part of Michigan at Little Traverse Bay, at the very, I think, north end of it. Petoskey and Harbor Springs.
The line is now set. The line is now set. We will go back into sequence in approximately 2 minutes.
A beautiful little town. It's a great summer village, and they have this one regatta a year, and all the boats right after Mac come up here and race since they were so close. They were really close to it when they were at Mac. The breeze now has picked up probably another 6 or 8 knots. We're seeing whitecaps, which we haven't seen all day. We're looking at 13 knots. everybody's still kind of practicing their starts, even though there have been a change and they're moving the marks. The marks are moved by trolling motors, so that, and they are, once they're locked in, the trolling motor keeps them in a position all the time, so that everything is done from computer on the race committee boat. There is no actually active support boat that is moving marks.
Inside 1 minute sequence. This is the practice start.
You just heard that. We're gonna, inside 1 minute. With this class, there's a little less formality as we used to have, where it'd be postponed, you took it down for a minute,
30 seconds to sequence.
especially during practice day. So if you feel like, hey, why didn't the flag come down? Well, we don't, our little group is kind of self-contained, and we know that we can start racing, and we'd rather use that minute to be on the race course.
10 seconds to sequence. Counting down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Now, Bohr, who started the class, was notoriously a pin in the pin. Bob tacks over on the heartbreaker. Bob has Paul Goodison calling tactics from England, an Olympic medal winner and a America's Cup helmsman, along with Riley Gibbs, also America's Cup driver. Mike Marshall, world champion from J24, all on the heartbreaker. Another great team. So that was a great practice start. As we see, the boats really important that the boats wanted the boat in. It'd be interesting to see if Carol would make a move to make the pin even more. WindQuest on a long starboard. That's a long approach for the WindQuest at 212. She'll probably come up here and maybe hopefully take a nibble or something. We see the boats coming across. Here's the prospector with the heartbreaker, Natalie J, all on port, Katana on starboard, WindQuest on starboard, Mockingbird on starboard, and Wizard. Wizard takes a little nibble, or just maybe going straight head to wind, just try to biting to kill pace. 1 minute, 39 seconds. As they have definitely shifted the line a little bit, we're going to see a little bit more separation from the boats and not such a big pile up right here at the at the boat end. The Baracca's virtual line is set. 1 minute 16. Mockingbird takes a little nibble on port. Bob Hughes comes back on starboard. He takes the transom of Mockingbird and possibly Natalie J. WindQuest also back on, takes a nibble to port, now gone to starboard, 54 seconds. Prospector here at the boat. Wizard takes another hitch with 48 seconds to go. Katana puts the bow down for building pace. Natalie J holds up the heartbreaker and the Mockingbird. Katana now kind of back up. WindQuest back up. They're all lining up. We've got 27 seconds. Katana on a port, coming back again for the hitch. There they go. We're looking at bows beginning to go down. 13 seconds. WindQuest is down there. Hooligan's down. Natalie J's got the bow down. Everybody in a building pace mode. Katana at the pin. And they're off with one. WinQuest takes the pin. Katana right above her. There's Bob Hughes above them. The Mockingbird. The Wizard. Natalie J tacks as she was on the second row of the start. And Prospector tacks. We'll see. We got the two boats coming over. Wizard tacks over. Now we got the lineup. We got the Hooligan has gone in, so we only have 7 boats now. Mockingbird tacks over. Again, this point is going to be a point of contention because there is always a little shift off there, even when this wind direction. So the boats that had the good starts, when you look at the Katana, the WindQuest, and the Heartbreaker now tacks over. They now have further to go to get to the point. You see the whole group now begin to come on over to port. Katana just tacked. WindQuest hangs on to starboard. We've got all the boats on port except for the WindQuest, who is on the left tip, and she comes over now. Whole fleet now on port tack, heading to Little Traverse Light Point. Good breeze all over the course. Actually, it looks, can't be sure, but it looks like a little more breeze jammed up on the shoreline of this point, and with the legs being longer, it may end up to be maybe a favor for those guys who would be the first to the point. Normally, if we don't see sunshine at this point, it's hard for the left to really, and because of that, like we said before, they can't go dead downwind. So there's a lot of play, especially when you've got a lot of shifting from both sides of the racehorse. Wizard comes back across. He's on a pretty hot angle, hoping to gain some advantage over here on the downwind left. Because it's so overcast, we can't even see where the weather mark is. All the navigators have all the marks already into their systems. All the navigators carry a tablet where they're watching the whole race course, the whole nuance of the race course on the tablet, so that they can pitch black, fog, or daytime. They see the whole course. Lord Mark is right in front of us on the coach boat. Wizard has a good angle and good pace here. Staso gets rolled up on the Katana as she dives over. She stepped up on her lead out of there. WindQuest is over with her. Bob is over with him, as we talked about. The first 3 boats trying to get a piece of each other. Natalie J dived first. WindQuest making a strong effort to kind of come up to stay ahead of Bob, giving the Katana a little bit of freedom to run down on the course and opening up her lead. WindQuest now has a good spot with Bob, but has to now think about they've got 1 and in to go. If they drive, it's going to be short drives. They're pretty close to the ley line. Katana is maybe a tad overstood or just barely on it. Been a great run for the Wizard. The Wizard, who comes in, who is in the back of the pack, has now come across. That separation, I guess the breeze probably went a little bit to the upwind left. And because of that, for the same reason that they left the boat did so well on the beach, she's done great here on the run and passes and looks like she was going to pass the Wind Quest, yeah, the Mockingbird, the Wind Quest, and the Heartbreaker on the run. Great call by Steve Hunt. They just barely don't get to the Wind Quest. They jive right on Bob. I think they're still a little bit ahead of the Wind Quest. I think they jive there more for tactical reasons. They're still ahead of them. Putting some bad air on the Wind Quest. Wind Quest is going to have to take two in, and that's going to hurt. Down here at the leeward gate, because of this interaction between the second through fourth place boat, Katana has been able to kind of sail her own race and step down and doubled her lead at that point. Breeze has lightened up just a little bit. We don't see the white caps that we did. Let's see where this ends up for WindQuest. As taking those two in is probably not going to be great for their placement here at the Lord Mark. Katana coming in with a great angle.
I'm gonna need to jump in pretty quickly.
Full on. For those who've never seen these spinnaker takedowns, you're going to be quite impressed with the way that they hook the spinnaker up to the grinder, to the primary winch, and they suck them down the hatch. I'm sure you've seen it on Facebook or any type of social media, but you'll get to see it right here, right now. Here comes the Katana coming in full speed. Pulls tight, shoots. Wizard did a great job. Going all the way to the beach or to the point. Bob goes behind. He's got the three boats going to the beach with the going to the point.
Alright, ready for going up?
And we're back. Okay. Drones up. Going to the race course. Wizard did great, going from all the way from far left to the most right boat.